Okay, this is a really important process. It's called gaseous exchange. What I'll just outline to you is what the components are. So this line here that looks like a balloon is actually an alveoli. So in actual fact, we've zoomed in under a microscope and we can see the alveoli. Now it's microscopic. It's very, very small usually, so you wouldn't be able to see it in the body, but there are millions of these, like we talked about last year, millions of sacs of air. So when the air comes down the trachea through the bronchi and the bronchioles, it finally meets what I described as these grape-like air sacs. They look like a little grape, and they're a bunch of grapes that you'll find in the inside the lungs. Now when the air meets this, the wall of the alveoli is what we call semi-permeable, which means that it is one cell thick. And what that means is that gases are able to pass through this wall. Now, what we've also got is this snake-like shape. Now this snake-like shape is a blood vessel, and it's otherwise known as a capillary. This also has is one cell thick and is a semi-permeable wall. And what that means is that things can pass through this wall. So what happens is when we inhale oxygen, the oxygen comes through to the alveoli, and if you watch it now, here's the oxygen. You see these little oxygen bubbles here, and they're coming through, and you'll see them now heading out through the wall of the alveoli into the capillary. Now what the oxygen does is it will bind on to the red blood cell and the hemoglobin to oxygenate the blood. Okay, so now the blood is oxygenated. What will happen is the blood will carry that oxygen off to the muscles and the organs to be able to fuel them for whatever they need to do. Okay, once that oxygen is used up, it will turn to carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide has to be exhaled out of the body. We have to get rid of it. It's a waste product. Okay, so what happens is once these capillaries have delivered the oxygen, they will then bring back the carbon dioxide. So if we play this now, we can see that carbon dioxide is coming back. Okay, so what happens with that carbon dioxide is it comes back out the capillary through the semi-permeable wall into the alveoli, and then it goes up through the bronchioles, through the bronchus or bronchi, up the trachea, and we exhale it out the lungs. And then the process starts again. What you can see though is that you've still got two red bits, which represents oxygen, and one sort of bluey, blacky bit, which is carbon dioxide. So when we inhale oxygen, we inhale around 21% of the air is oxygenated. So let's say that we inhale oxygen, but we only actually use 4% of that inhaled air. Okay, and then so let's say it's 21%, we exhale 17% of oxygen. Okay, but when we use up oxygen, that means that we create 3% of carbon dioxide, which represents this blue molecule here. So we do exhale some oxygen. We're not efficient enough to be able to use it all. And obviously then we contribute to exhaling carbon dioxide into the atmosphere.